Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Bound Journals. Welcome back to my channel. So this is a bit of a different looking video. I'm just showing you a whole bunch of my journals and creations while I share with you the answers to your questions from the 8K subscriber video. So this is the third video in this series answering your questions. I'll link below the first two parts to this series, and we'll see how far we get in this video. Maybe you want to craft along while you have this on in the background. So let's go up, let's pick up where we left off. What got me into junk journals? So it was Johanna Clough on YouTube. She introduced me to junk journals, and I just felt like I found my home because it combines everything I love: writing, creating, and memory keeping. What was my work? What kind of work did I do before full-time journal creating? So before this, I was church administrator for my local church. My very first job, though, was actually as a dog groomer. I worked in a pet shop, and as well as being a dog groomer, because I was in the pet shop, I would also work as a retail assistant in the shop. So I'd get to feed the puppies and clean their enclosures and price stock and hang up stock and serve customers and all that kind of stuff. So let me just skip down and get to the next question. How do I get vintage papers and supplies for junk journals? There are only 3 places that I get my supplies: op shops, vintage shops, and Etsy. So that's where I would get them from. Next question. My name sounds like a Korean name. Am I Korean? So that's interesting because I was born in South Korea, and I was given the name Un-hee, which means grace and hope. But when I came to Australia, I was adopted at 4 months old. All my family are Aussie, and so this is all I've ever known, and I just consider myself Aussie. And I had my name changed when I came here to Juni, so to Junie. So technically my name is Junie, and my middle name is Desiree, which means wanted, because my parents wanted me to know that I was wanted. So my first name means grace and hope, my second name means wanted, and so Junie got changed to Uni because everyone just called me that. So yes, that is the story behind my name. I kind of call it, I have 3 names. The one I was given at birth, Un-hee, the one I was given on my birth certificate, and when I came to Australia, Junie, and then the name that everyone calls me, Uni. So it's a bit confusing, thus why I just go by JD. That's what I sign all my letters and all my cards and all my emails with, JD. And my family calls me JD too, or sometimes they call me JD, and sometimes my friends call me JD as well. How long does it roughly take me to make a journal? And what is my favourite movie? My favourite movie is Lord of the Rings. That's an easy one. Roughly, it could take anything from an hour for the quickest journal to a month. So sometimes if I'm not feeling it, over a month, but I can usually get it done in a month, like a really big one. What's my favourite thing to make? Vintage journals, botanical journals are my favourite things to make. The covers are my favourite things to make. What would you like to do a happy mail swap? I do love Happy Mail, and Happy Mail swaps are quite fun. Just at the moment, I moved house in 2021, and so I am in the process of still decluttering and all that kind of thing, and I'm trying to organize my space constantly. I think a lot of us are doing that. So just at the moment, I'm not accepting Happy Mail or journals. In particular, I'm not even buying myself any journals, and I'm really trying my best not to buy any supplies either. until I use the supplies I already have. So yeah, that's just helping me, and hopefully I can declutter and get organized. Another question, wondering how do I price journals? So basically, I usually have a base rate of about $20 to $30 for just a plain standard single signature journal. The way I kind of do that is $20 for the pages and $10 for the cover if it's just like a basic one, and then it goes up from there. And so usually I try to go at a base rate $20 per signature, but if it's got a lot of ephemera, a lot of sewing, or like vintage products that cost a lot more to buy, then it could go up to $30 a signature, that kind of thing. And obviously covers, if there's a lot more work involved, or if it's a hard cover journal, those usually start at $20. So that's just a rough guide there that I have been using. There's quite a few questions in this one. How do I plan my journals? I just have a normal system, my normal system, which is cover, pages, ephemera. Cover, pages, binding, ephemera. That's how I do them. Hang on. You always have several series of JJ in different stage of production, so how do I organize myself? Basically, I organize myself by what I feel like. So whatever I feel like creating at a certain time, I will create that. And sometimes if I have a big journal on the go, I don't always feel I have the energy to put into a huge journal project. So it's nice to just do some smaller journals on the side while I'm working on that, for example. Do I have a day where I'm making all the tags of different themes, or do I work on JJ theme 1 in the morning and embellishments for JJ theme 2 in the afternoon? Okay, so the specifics. I usually have a day where I will just work on ephemera, for example, or a day to make tags versus a day to make journals. Usually I do everything in bulk, so I'll make journals for a whole week, and then for a whole other week I'll just focus on ephemera. Sometimes I might do that as well. I might do tags in the morning and work on the journal in the afternoon or nighttime. So honestly, it literally just depends on what I feel like doing at the time. I don't have like a set, this is what I'm going to do now. It doesn't happen like that. I don't plan it like that. I literally just wake up in the morning and go, what do I feel like doing? And I do that thing. And then in the afternoon, I'll go, what do I feel like doing now? And I'll do that thing. At night, I'll sit at my desk and I'll be like, what do I feel like doing now? And I do that thing. So I don't plan what I do. It's just what I feel like when I sit down. Sandy, hi Sandy, patron Sandy. She was asking what materials I like using in my journals most. Definitely vintage things for sure, and also real life ephemera. So from stuff from my actual day-to-day life for sure is my absolute most favorite. What are my favorite seasons? Summer, because that's when we have Christmas and New Year's and holidays, the summer holidays. So it's my favorite time of year. Also, I love the hotter weather, and it's when I get to see my family in Melbourne. I was wondering if you have done a child or children's themed hand-drawn images of children at play holding flowers, etc. journal. I haven't hand-drawn anything. I'm terrible at drawing people. I'm terrible at drawing faces. Stick figures is all I can manage. But yeah, if I find pictures of children, I have made some vintage children's themed journals in the past. So basically I just find vintage children's books for those journals pretty much. Let's see. What do you do when you need inspiration, when you aren't feeling creative? Usually I will do something else that I feel inspired to do. So if I'm not feeling creative, I will go read a book, or I'll watch a movie, or I'll listen to Psychology in Seattle podcast. and then I will create when I feel creative again. So that's how it usually works for me. If I'm not feeling creative and I still want to create, I will cut out pages usually, or cut out my photos. That's nice because I'm not actually creating anything, but I'm still doing something that goes towards creating, or watching YouTube videos of Johanna Clark or Amity Bloom to get me inspired. Let's have a look at the next question. What type, brand of printer do I use? I use my old Works printer. So it is a Ricoh, and it's one of those 3-story machines that's printer, scanner, photocopier in one. So I'm very fortunate that I am able to use that printer. What is my next theme for my next journal? I'm currently working on a fairy tale series of journals, so that's exciting. What did I do prior to my full-time YouTube journey? Well, I'm getting that question quite a lot. So I was church administrator for my local church. Michelle, patron Michelle, I'm doing well. Your question is, did I do a university or TAFE type course after finishing school, and what did I do? So I'm a study freak. I love studying, so I've done quite a lot. I did after school a Bachelor of Environmental Science. I majored in zoology and did first class honours in animal behaviour, because back then my dream was to work with animals. But eventually I've worked out that my heart was with creating and writing. But before I worked that out, I went to Bible college and did a Master of Arts and majored in mission studies, and my favourite subject was cultural anthropology. But then after that I learned that my heart was with creating and writing, so I did a master's I did a grad dip of arts in mission studies. Then I did a master's of writing and literature, and yes, that's when it felt like I found my home with writing, and that's when I discovered I was a life writer at heart. And then I did a few classes at another Bible college studying creative writing, and that one was just absolutely amazing, changed my life. But I ended up stopping that class or course because that's when I discovered junk journals, and this became my full-time job and obsession and passion, and so I had no time for that class, but I can always go back to it if I want. In fact, I am auditing one of the subjects there right now, so I can continue auditing the rest of the classes there if I wanted to. I know we're at black screen, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish these questions so I don't have to do a huge amount of videos for this, I think. So if you're still here and you still want to listen, just craft away in the background. I'm sorry about the black screen. I know it's not ideal, but yeah, just I'll answer the rest of the questions here now. So what materials or tools do I find I struggle with, but they look super awesome in the end? I actually don't know. I just use papers and ephemera, and it's fun. I think more my struggle is how to put them together. That's my struggle. It's not the tools or materials themselves. It's how do I put them together to make it look good. What's my favourite journal to make? Vintage ones and botanical ones. My favourite ones tend to have a story and deeper meaning to them. In terms of what type, I do like the hardcover type best, I think. The ones made from scratch out of chipboard. How do I pick out pages for my journals? Basically, whatever my theme is, I will go find pages that suit that theme, and that's how I choose pages. I'll just find books or note papers from op shops and things that go with that theme. What's my favourite thing to use when making journals? Definitely vintage ephemera or vintage pieces, or my real life ephemera for sure. Tina, patron Tina, thank you so much, Tina. What has been the hardest part of my junk journal journey? The hardest part has been the the emails and the comments that say things like, I laugh too much and they don't like my giggle, or my videos are too long, or my videos are too this, too that, or they don't like this and they don't like that. So yeah, those ones are quite hard. They can shake me up a bit. I'm like Kirk from Psychology in Seattle. I have a thin skin and they can bring down my whole week. But eventually, after I reach out for support and with enough time, I remember, hey, no, this is my happy, my happy, joyful place. And so I will keep doing it because it makes me happy and joyful. And it's okay that not everyone will like it, and that's okay because there's someone else out there that will spark the joy for them, and that's beautiful and awesome. Let's scroll down, find more questions. Some of you guys have just left lovely comments. Thank you, Cheryl, for your beautiful, beautiful comment. Sorry, some of these comments are really, really long, so just trying to find the questions. Have I always lived in Australia? Yes, pretty much, because I was adopted from South Korea, but I was only there for 4 months. So pretty much I say I've lived in Australia my whole life. Is there anywhere that I would like to travel or even live? As I mentioned before, it would just be maybe a gap year type thing in Portland, Oregon or Seattle, to write and read to my heart's content. Let's have a look at these questions here. Sorry, other than crafting, what do I enjoy as a way to de-stress and unwind? Okay, so that was reading books, watching movies, spending time with my cat, listening to music, that kind of thing. Would you still be in love with junk journaling if the vintage element was taken away from it? For sure, because like I said, my favorite supply other than vintage is everyday life real ephemera. So there's always everyday ephemera around us, and I just like I like paper. Paper's my favorite supply as well. Just paper, pretty papers. So I would love journals, even if it was just for the papers, and everyday ephemera. What's my favorite way to unwind and relax besides crafting? Wow, I've gotten that question a lot. So yeah, I'll leave that one again. I've answered that one I think 3 times now, so that's the 4th time. So this one's, they're wondering how I pick the winner. So it depends. Sometimes I pick giveaway winners through the random YouTube comments picker. Is that what it's called? And other times I will choose my favorite comment that speaks to my heart, that moves me. For things like the Johanna Clough giveaway, I choose it based on which kit I want to buy. So for those ones, people enter by naming the kit that they want, and I will only choose a kit that is named specifically that I don't have and that I want at that time. So it has to kind of meet all these different kinds of criteria. And I know it when I see it, basically. As I read the comments, I know it when I see the winner. But yeah, sometimes I do the random comment one. That's usually when there's no entry requirements. Like there's no, it can just be real quick with a comment picker. And if I'm feeling lazy, then I might, just go to the comment picker. But I do like finding the heart and finding connection as well. I really love that. What does my cat do while I'm creating? Well, either he's at my desk playing with my stuff or sitting on my stuff, but mostly he sleeps. So either on my desk or on my bed or on his scratching post or under my bed. Let's keep going. What would be your best buy when it comes to journal making? Well, I would really love a typewriter. That's been on my wish list for a long time, so that I could just have a typewriter next to me, and anytime I want to type out a journal entry or a quote or a thought that I want to stick in my journal, I don't have to go to a laptop and print it and write it there and then hook it up to a printer and print it out. I can literally just go to a typewriter and do that. So that would be really fun. Next question. Let's see. Other than journal making, what would you love to be able to do for a job someday? And do you have a desire to move to another country? No, not really. I don't really have a desire to move to another country, Australia. I'm quite happy here. What would I love to be able to do for a job someday other than this? It would be a writer. I would love to be an author for sure. And connected to journals, but it's not making journals, so I hope this counts. I would love to teach journaling and teach writing courses. That would be awesome. I've wanted to do that for a very long time, even before I even discovered junk journals. I've had a heart to teach writing and journaling. How many journals do I make in a week? It could be anything from 0 to 10. Just depends on the week and the type of journal I'm making. Okay, let me find the next question. What's my favourite Bible verse? My favourite Bible verse is Philippians 2, 5-11. I'm just going to paraphrase it here off the top of my head. Your attitude should be the same that Christ Jesus had. Though he was God, he did not cling to his rights as God. Instead, he humbled himself and took the form of, and became human and took the form of a human slave, and humbled himself even further by dying a criminal's death on the cross, so that at the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, in heaven, on earth, and under the earth, to the glory of God the Father. Love that one so much, because everything is, for me, I hope anyway, that I can glorify God every day, every moment, with everything I do. As always, I fail at this a million times a day, but every day is a new day to try again. And he is so gracious and so patient with us too. How many journals have I made so far? I have made over 700 journals. So I do keep a record of them all. I don't have it in reach at the moment, so I can't tell you the exact number, but I have a journal where I record and number every journal that I make. So I can keep track of that, which is quite fun. I'm glad I did that. My favourite food is possibly salt and vinegar chips. And I do love burger rings. I do love sushi and fish and chips for meals. How many paper do I use for a single signature? It depends on the journal, but usually I use 25 pieces of paper for a single signature journal. And that could go, as low as, for a multi-signature journal, 10 pages, or even if it's my journal, 7 pages, because I bulk mine up a lot, up to 30 pages. Like if I'm doing a really chunky single signature journal, I could put up to maybe 30 pages in there, maybe more. What are my 5 must-have tools for junk journaling? Yeah, I really want to do a video where I show my favourite supplies for junk journaling. I love watching other people's videos where they do that, so that'll be really fun. 5 must-haves: paper, scissors, tools. I'm not sure if that counts as a tool. I don't really use many tools, other than scissors. I can't think of anything. So I'm just going to say supplies: paper, scissors. Honestly, all you need is that. But I guess an awl and thread and needle to make the journal. That's all you need. Scissors, thread, or needle to thread the needle, to bind the journal, and paper. So let's go with those 5. Do I ever get in a block where I just can't seem to create? Not really, because my whole life I've been creative, and I can't imagine not being creative. It's just what I turn to when I need to de-stress. It's what I turn to when I need to unwind. So every day, there'll be a moment where I'm just like, oh, I need to have a break. I need to rest. And so I will turn to creating. Of course, there are times where I don't feel like creating, and that's where I'll just do something else. I'll just read a book or something. And eventually I'll feel like creating later on. How long am I in Melbourne for? Oh, so clearly this was a very long time ago when I did this video. I was in Melbourne for a month. What is your favourite flower? My favourite flower, oh, I got that one again, is the lily, the white lily, like a tiger lily shape. But I also like blue flowers, like forget-me-nots and, what's it called? Like wisteria. I know that's not really blue, that's purple. I do like snowdrops too, and bluebells. What's my best advice for sewing on paper? I don't really have any advice, because all I do is get my sewing machine and sew. There's nothing else I do. So I'm probably not the best to answer that question. But yeah, just grab my machine, thread it, get the paper, and off I go. Let's have a look. Do I ever slow stitch? No, I don't ever slow stitch. What about watercolour? Yes, I do watercolour sometimes. Is it hard to get wallpaper at a good price? Yeah, I think it is. I don't usually find wallpaper, so I have to go to Etsy to get wallpaper. You can also get, those samples. You can pay for samples. I think some people can get free samples if you're lucky. Occasionally I might strike gold and find some wallpaper in an op shop or a vintage shop, which is awesome. And it's just hit or miss whether it's priced reasonably. So whatever you can find. What's your favourite journal I've made and completely filled with memories? Oh, I have to do that one as a video request too to show you. Which one's my favourite? Because the only ones I've filled so far are the ones where it's like my yearly journal. So I have one for 2017, one for 2018, one for 2019, 2020, and I can't really say either of them are my favourite, because it's just like a generic, this is what I did in a year. So when I finish my vintage journal, I think that one will be my favourite once I finish it, because it's filled up with my favourite beautiful things. Awesome. Okay, I think that is the end of the questions. Woo, we made it. Thank you so much for sticking with me if you're still here. Let's do a fun code word if you're still here and you watched all the way to the end of this video and all of those other videos. Code word is, the code word is diamond. If you are still here, use the word diamond in a sentence. And I hope that was enjoyable and relaxing. And thank you for all of your questions and your requests. I will now make my way through answering as many questions as I can as a video and doing your requests as well. And I hope you enjoy that. So thank you so much for being with me on this journey. And oh yes, I did go through the questions to reply to the one who won the journal. And so congratulations to that person, and I'm looking forward to the next giveaway. Thank you so much.